Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I want to introduce you a library I found like a month ago. The name is Fiber. So Fiber, it's a Go library who it's inspired by Express.js. So if you came from a Node background, I'm pretty sure you have used Express. It's 99% sure you did use it. And I find it like really awesome. And why? It's because, so yeah, before I did Go, I've done some Ruby, PHP, Node, and etc. And when I jump on Go, I was kind of lost of all to do thing and stuff like that. Like a lot of people say, use the standard library and thing like that. So you try to do this, but if you don't really know everything about the language himself and stuff like that, you get pretty lost pretty quick, and you find like you're gonna repeat a lot of code. And yeah, and I find this Go Fiber stuff really awesome because that looks so much like what you do in Express. It's really easy for you to jump from Node to Go with that and be your kind of first step in the Golang world. Plus, it's really performant. So if you start with that and you really want to go further with that to build your project, etc., that's gonna be perfect for you, I think so. And it's pretty easy to use. I have now some docs, not complete yet, but they really work on that. And yeah, I think that's gonna be something to check for sure in the future. And I even started using that right now for some of my really personal project where it's like a pet project finally. Toys project, I mean, sorry. And yeah, so as you can see in the title, they already say, hey, it's an Express inspired web framework. So for those who don't really know, Express is this thing, expressjs.com. If you go to the getting started, it's pretty simple, but if you look at the routing and you look app.get, app.post, etc., right there with the rest.send, if you go back there, it's the same exact stuff almost. So as you can see, they have the routing, they have a static file if you want to serve that. So for example, if you want to serve your JavaScript file, some of your HTML or CSS, for the benchmark, it's pretty good. I'm gonna show you that in a moment. It's an API ready, so if you want to build an API, it's really simple. Like you see with Express, it's really easy to work with. I find it like, I mean, you don't even need to read the docs first because because it's typed, it's a lot easier to see what you can do. Plus, because of the strong typing, if you do any kind of mistake, you're gonna get correct from your IDE. But also because it looks so much from like Express, and I've done Express for like 5 years. So yeah, they have middleware. One of the things we love in Express is the middleware. So this is really easy for you to work with the life cycle of your server requests and stuff like that. So you can do the same. So as you can see, you start your Fiber server, and you can put your cars right there at the top. Finally, everything here app.use gonna be gonna go there before you get to the app.get. So it's really good. Plus, low memory footprint. I mean, yeah, Fiber must have done a lot of stuff for that, but I think it's just Go in general. Rapid programming. That was something I didn't. I mean, I'm really good. Really fast, I mean, with Go. I feel like the language really clicked with me and stuff like that. But again, like I told you, you're gonna need to rewrite a lot of the stuff you have already for free in other stuff. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure like if you have done some Rails, Django, Laravel and stuff like that, like big MVC framework, it's easy to kind of switch language when you have the same mindset. So that was a thing I didn't get when I started with Go. It's getting from example Node or other stuff from Go. It's like, okay, before that I was working on top of a lot of abstraction. Yes, you have the cons and the pros, but the thing is when you jump on Go, that was like, hey, you have nothing. So and I just feel like this thing is just enough for me to really love the Go language. And when generic gonna came to the Go language, if you search for that, I think that's gonna be pretty simple. Yeah, awesome. You have also some template engine. You can use Handlebar, Pog, and stuff like that. So it's awesome because you already know those in Express. Plus, you can use them in your API. Example, if you work with that for a recipe API, you can use this template engine to build your email or whatever stuff you want to do. WebSocket, look at that. How awesome is this? So as you can see, look really simple. You have your WebSocket, you have an infinite for loop right there, and you finally read your message and you can write message pretty simple. I mean, we don't gonna go over that for today, but yeah, you have rate limiter. Plus they have a Discord channel you can join, and you're gonna be able to chat with them and getting help. And as you can see, the docs is pretty nice. Really easy to get into and stuff like that. They told you about like what to do with the routing, the grouping. They don't have the doc yet, but it's pretty simple to work with. The template validating, they don't have stuff yet, but they're gonna came. Error handling, pretty simple. Also, if you want to do, you see, example, if you want to do a 404, you put this middleware at the end of your request. So if nothing getting catch, you can just show status not found and stuff like that. For the benchmark, for those who look at that, one thing I can say, it's don't really look at the benchmark, because I mean, a lot of app we build don't even gonna get to the point where the benchmark really means something, but if you look at that, you can see it's pretty fast. So 2 millisecond latency average versus 354 by request. So I think it's by response. So it's pretty good. Yeah, look at that. And they have a lot of examples. So this is one thing I really like about them. I think I've seen a lot of that now with a lot of open source project. They have kind of like external docs like Next.js and stuff like that do this also, where you can see a lot of recipe of all to do stuff. So example, if you look to use Gorm, pretty popular ORM in Go, if you want to use GWT, Postgres, and whatever, you have a lot of stuff right there. So what we're gonna do today, I mean, today is just I just want to show you how awesome this library is. I plan to do a series with that. So for today, we're gonna just do what everyone do when you want to start working with something. It's just a plain to-do list. I know some people gonna say, "Oh, again another to-do list," but I just feel like when you want to jump between library or framework or language, whatever, doing something you already know how to do, it's gonna be better. And the reason why, it's because you don't gonna focus about the ID, like the feature and stuff like that. You're gonna just focus about the language himself or the library. So you know how to work with the to-do. You have a list of to-dos. You can complete, change maybe the name of the to-do, and you can create a to-do, delete a to-do, whatever you want. So yeah. You're gonna need Postman. You can use Postwoman. I think it's another one. You can use Insomnia, whatever. I just want you to have like a HTTP GUI or whatever they call that to do some requests. You need your text editor. You can use VS Code. For me, I use Golang. And yeah, so we're gonna start to do this. So it's pretty simple. So I'm gonna click on new project, and I'm gonna use Go module because we're gonna use Go module for that. And I'm gonna call this one Go Fiber to-dos. I'm gonna create a project. And now you see what they do. They create a Go mod with a module called Go Fiber to do. So it's kind of like the name of my project. If you use VS Code or any other IDE who don't do this for you need to do Go mod init and the name of your project. After that, the way that work, it's pretty simple. You do to the getting start and you do go get. Sorry about that. Go get fiber. Also, I'm running Go 1.14.5. I don't think that's gonna make don't gonna do any change for you. But yeah, so now you see they import fiber, compress, and stuff like that. So there are some library they use, and we're gonna start with our project. So I'm gonna create a new Go file, and I'm gonna say it's package main. So that's gonna be where we're gonna start everything, and I'm gonna create a main function. And the idea is a to-do list. So the first thing I think to do, sorry, I say to do, but it's to do, but so I'm gonna create first thing the type. So the struct to do, and we're gonna go really simple with that. We're gonna have a name. It's gonna be a string, just a name like that. We're gonna have complete. It's a boolean, and we're also gonna have an ID. It's gonna be an int, like that. After that, I'm gonna initialize a slice of to do, who's gonna be like that, and I'm gonna create two fake to do to just give us some boilerplate already done. So I'm gonna say walk the dog, and complete is gonna be found, and I'm gonna do walk the cat. I mean, I'm really bad, so like that. So we create our basic to-dos, no database, nothing. We just want to learn Go Fiber, and I even gonna go presentation assistant on, and I'm gonna go in presentation mode to just help you. Okay. So now how that work? I'm gonna create my app first. So I'm gonna use fiber, and I'm gonna say fiber.new. So right now it's the equivalent of express when you do const app equal express, like that. Okay, so it's the same exact stuff. You create your app right there. After that, I'm gonna do listen. Same exact stuff you do in Express. You put the port you want. Here we can receive an error. So if I have an error at this point, I'm gonna just panic with the error. Nothing crazy. And now, for now, I'm gonna just do a plain app.get. And now I'm gonna have a function, so an inline function where I'm gonna receive the context with a pointer to the fiber context. And for now, I'm gonna just say hello world, like that. And now I'm gonna run my project. So you see, they have this logo right there. And when you run on port 3000, we have one handler, so one route. You can see I have 16 memory, I have 8 threads, and I'm running on Darwin because I'm on OS X. So now if I go to Postman, I'm gonna create a new request. It's gonna be HTTP localhost 3000. I'm gonna do a get request, and now I receive hello world. But the thing is, I would like to have some kind of logger or something like that to know which URL I did use finally. And they give you that. They give you this middleware for free. You do use like you do in Express. And now if you start to type middleware, they have already some middleware in Fiber, and one of them is Logger. So I'm gonna restart my server. And now if I do a send request and I go back, you see I'm getting the request right there. It takes 0 seconds, and it's a get request. That's it. It's pretty good. Good. So I'm gonna stop that, and now I want to use something else to make our life easier with the project. It's because I don't want to always refresh my thing and to restart. So in Express and Node, you use something called Nodemon. So Nodemon, it's a utility that will monitor for any change and automatically restart your server. And in Go, I find this one. They came from the recipe they gave us, and it's a live reload for Go. It's the same exact stuff almost, and the way to make it use, it's pretty simple. You do a go get, so you go back to your Go project and terminal, and right there I'm gonna do go get error, perfect. And now I can just run error like that, and now they're gonna live reload to my project. So on any change, so you see if I create new line main go have changed, and the building, they're running, that's it. They have restarted the server. Perfect. So now we want to work with that and create some new to-do and stuff like that. So I think that's gonna be the best one to work with. It's gonna be first to get the to-dos. So we're gonna start with the get to-do. So I'm gonna say right there, app.get to-dos. And I'm gonna just save the to-dos to my project dictionary so I don't gonna get any kind of error from Golang. And I'm gonna say here get to-dos. So get to-dos is not create, so I'm gonna say create the function get to-dos. And because I say create the function get to-dos from the app.get right there, they know the function need to receive the CTX fiber context pointer. They do this for me, so it's pretty nice. And now right there, I can do my stuff. So for the first one, it's gonna be pretty simple. What I want to do is send a status of fiber OK, status OK, and I want to send in JSON my slice of to-dos. That's it. So now if I save and I go there and I go to /to-dos, now I get back my to-do right there. That was really simple. And also this JSON stuff return some error. You can handle those error, but in our case we know we don't gonna get any kind of issue, but you should surely check for that. Perfect. After that, in a CRUD, we also want to create a to-dos. So post to-dos, and we're gonna say create to-do. I'm gonna say create function. Perfect. And now the way I like to work now in Go is to create a struct. What the heck? Type struct, and I call this one request. So the request, it's what the user sent to you in the request. And here, what we want the user to be able to send to create a to-dos is going to be only one thing, and it's going to be a name. That's it. So the name is going to be sent in the request. And now, how can we get the JSON from the request? It's really, really simple. It's almost like what you do in other Go stuff, but they make it a bit more simpler. So the first thing is I'm going to create a variable body, which is going to be a type of struct request. And now here I'm going to do CTX, so the fiber context. And if you open that, you're going to see a bunch of stuff. Okay, you have a lot of stuff. You can get the IPs, location, method, whatever, but also you can do body parser. So if you remember in Express, if you search for body, JSON, sorry, Express JSON, it's now a middleware they give you to get the incoming request to JSON, but they also came from a body parser. And the idea was you get body parser and you use it as a middleware, and now you parse your request JSON, and so you're gonna be able to use it from your Express server. So it's almost the same idea. I really like the fact that they use the same naming. So now here I'm gonna dereference my body, and now the thing is this body parser can return an error. So I'm gonna get this error right there, and I'm gonna check for the error. But in this case, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just send a status of fiber bad request, and I'm gonna send a JSON response again, but I want to return a fiber map. This way I can just do kind of like an object in JavaScript, and I'm gonna say error cannot parse JSON. That's it. And I'm gonna stop my request at this point. I know they're gonna stop it there, but I want to make sure it makes more sense to for my brain to see the return. So now here I have the body, and now I want to create a new to-do. So the new to-do is going to be a to-do struct. And sorry, I just want to get the all fill. For the ID, we're just gonna increment the ID by 1 of where we are. So I'm gonna get the length of the to-dos, and I'm gonna do +1. For the name, that's gonna be to do, not to do that name, but that's gonna be request. Sorry, it's body that name, and complete false by default. You created to do right now, so it's surely not complete. After that, I want to append that to my to-dos array. So I'm gonna say to-dos, so the global variable to-dos. I'm gonna append the to-dos we are before with the new to-do we add. And finally, I'm gonna return a status of fiber create, and I'm gonna send in the JSON the to-dos. And because the JSON have the tag, the to-do struct have the type of the JSON, we are gonna be good when it build. So now if I save, first thing I'm gonna do a get request to get all my to-dos. That's perfect. And now if I want to create one, I'm gonna do body raw. I'm gonna change the text to JSON, and right there I'm gonna say name. I'm gonna say I don't know, buy some wine, something like that. So now I get returned the ID number 3. Makes sense. We have 2 to do before, so we append the ID. We increment the ID by 1. We have the name here. We have the complete false. Perfect. And now if I do a get request to the to-dos, I should receive 3 to-dos. Perfect. But now remember, if my server restart, I'm gonna just have 2 because the thing it's in memory. So when the server restart, it lost everything. So this is something to remember. So in the CRUD, we have right now the get to do, we have the post. What we miss, it's maybe get just one to do. So I'm gonna do, sorry about that. Okay, I'm here. Add that get to do's. And now how can we get just one to do? So in Express, what you do is to put maybe like a params ID, like that with a column. So the column means it's gonna be a variable called ID, and it's the same exact stuff you do right there. So we're gonna say get to do. I'm gonna say create a function get to do. Perfect. And now, how we're gonna work with that? So the first thing, the params ID. I'm gonna create a variable params ID, sorry. And the way you can get that is by saying ctx params with the key ID. So the key you have here is the key you put here. So here, if I would have put Bob, that would have been Bob. So it's your choice right there. Perfect. The issue here is the params ID is gonna be a type of string. You see, because the params here always gonna return a string. So now here, what you want to do is transform this string to an int, because if you want to match to the ID is an int. So how do we parse a string to an int in Go? It's pretty simple. So you use the strconvert library, who have the atoi, I don't know how they pronounce that, but a function where here you receive a string, they return you an int or an error. So you pass your params ID like that, and now you can get your ID or your error. You should check for your error. So if I have an error right there, I'm gonna send a status of fiber bad request, where I'm gonna say in JSON a fiber map, where I'm gonna say error cannot parse IDs. So that's gonna mean that's gonna happen maybe if the user send you a string like Bob cannot be parsed to an int. So that's gonna be the kind of stuff you can get. And I think this error just makes sense to the end user. We're gonna see, oh, I cannot parse the ID. Oh yeah, I put a space, something like that. After that, here we need to do the job ORM or your database is gonna do, but it's pretty simple. So the way we're gonna work with that is we're gonna loop over the to-dos. So I'm gonna loop over the to-dos like that. And right there, I'm gonna check if the to-do.id equal the ID I get from here. That means it's the to-do I want to return. So I'm gonna say right there, ctx.status fiber OK. And I'm gonna say in JSON the current to do. I'm gonna say return and stop thing there. But if I go further, so if I get a to do, I'm gonna stop right there. But if I go over all the the loop and I get nothing, that means I should return a 404. So fiber not fun. That's it. So now I'm gonna save, and we can test with what we have already. So you remember we have to do ID 1 and 2. So if I do 1, I get the first one. If I do 2, I get the first 2. And 3, I get nothing. 4, I get nothing. And if I put something who is not an ID, I'm gonna get bad request, cannot parse ID. It's pretty simple right there. So after that, we surely want to be able to delete a to-do. So app.delete to-dos, same exact pattern. We need to get the params ID, and we're gonna call that delete to-do. I'm gonna create a function. And now we're gonna just copy some code. You can create a function. We're gonna manage that. You should, because you don't want to copy yourself. But for this tutorial, I don't gonna care about that. And for the delete, it's a bit more order, because deleting a struct from a slice, it's not that easy in Go. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loop over the to-dos again. Oops, sorry, I want the 4 like that. But now in this range to-dos, I want to care about the index. We're gonna need that. So the first thing I need to do, sorry, I always say to-do, but yeah, is to check if the to-do ID match the ID I'm getting passed from right there. If yes, this is the one I need to delete. So the way we're gonna delete that is I need to change the to-do slice to remove it. So the way I work with the delete right there, it's I want the to-dos to be now a new slice without the old version, the to-do you want to delete. And the way that works, it's I'm gonna say append to-dos, and I'm gonna get the element 0 to the element index. So example, if you want to delete the element number 3, the ID 3, so the number 3 in the loop, I want to get 0, 1, 2 to stay in the to-dos. So this is what we do. So 0, 1, 2 stay there. But I want to also kind of like concat those with the I plus 1. So 3 plus 1 is going to be the 4 here to the end. So when you just put this symbol here, it's like give me everything else at the end. Another thing, it's this thing right there is going to give you like you cannot use like that, because what you need to do, it's like kind of like in JavaScript we spread them. So it's like getting all the variants right there. So it's pretty good. So get the 0 to 3. So to 3 we stop there. We don't want the new element, but we want everything after that. So if you that can help you think your element you want to remove is right there. So you want everything before and everything after to become one slice. That's it. And I'm gonna return right there. But before that, when you delete something you almost always send it's 204, so status no content. That's it. And finally, if you didn't delete nothing, so you go over the follow-up and you delete nothing, maybe you want to send that to the user. So I'm gonna say fiber not fun. So that means the to-do was not existing before. So I'm gonna create the to-do right there. So buy someone, because I want to get 3 to-do, just to show you. So you see I have 3 to-do. And now I'm gonna delete maybe the number 2. I say delete, I get 204, looks pretty good. And I'm gonna do a get request. I get 1 and 3, that's it. So now if I say delete maybe number 1, and I go back and I do a get request, I get just number 3. That's perfect. looks pretty good. And if I want to try to delete number maybe 99, I get not found. And if I try to delete not real ID, I get cannot parse ID. Perfect. And now the last one, it's a patch request to update a to-do. So update to-do. So we create a function, update to-do. We're gonna get the param like that. And now how can we update a to-do? So first thing I like, it's you remember what we've done when we create a to-do. We create a type request, and I'm gonna do the type request right there at the top. I like to have the type request at the top just because it makes sense to me when I see that. Oh, okay, so here is the request. This is what the user is supposed to send and stuff like that. And that's kind of like why I want it at the top. So I see the function and I see what is supposed to happen right there. So what can a user update with the to-do? So I want him to be able to update the name of the to-do, but also I want him to be able to say, hey, I want to complete this to-do. So we have complete also. If I can type, it's gonna be Boolean, JSON like that. But one of the issue is I don't want to deal with the empty string and empty bool. What I mean by that, it's by default in Go. And if you don't pass nothing to a type string, it's gonna be an empty string. So you're gonna receive something like that. And now what you need to do when you get this kind of issue is doing maybe something like a name, it's not equal to that. And I don't like that. So I'm gonna put a pointer. Doing this now, I can check if name is not nil, something like that. And it's the same ID with the bool. So you put a pointer like that. After that, what I want to do, so here we have the parse ID, makes sense, perfect. And the first thing I'm gonna do, it's first I want to search a to-do, okay? I don't want to care, I don't want to parse that if the to-do don't exist, but you can, oh yeah, we're gonna parse that first. So again, it's pretty simple. Remember, it's the same exact stuff. You create your body request, you do ctx that body parser, and you dereference your body like that. And now this thing can receive an error. And if you have an error, you can just send status fiber.body request and JSON fiber.map error cannot parse body, something like that. I'm gonna return. So now we have our body, perfect, and now we need to find the to-do to update it. So I'm gonna say var to-dos. It's gonna be a type of to-dos. I'm gonna go over all the to-dos, but I don't care about the index. I'm gonna say if t.id equal to-dos. So sorry, t.id is equal the ID, sorry, we pass. So the ID we pass as the param. So to-do is gonna be equal to t. I'm gonna break the loop, so I'm gonna want to stop the loop right there. If to-do, and now that's the thing. It's now my to-do right there. It's a struct to-do with empty stuff. So the way to see if the to-do don't exist in our case is gonna be something I don't like, is to check if to-do the ID equals 0. Don't worry, we're gonna modify that. Because by default, an int is gonna default to 0. And it's impossible to have an to-do with an ID of 0 because everything starts from 1 and we do ID length plus 1. So if this thing happen here, I'm gonna send fiber not found, and I'm gonna return right there. And I want to modify the to-do. So we're gonna go and work with the body. So if body.name is not nil, I'm gonna say to-do.name equal body.name. The thing is the body.name, it's a pointer. So if you want to receive the value from that, you put an asterisk in front of it. if the body.complete is not nil, so we're getting pass, to-do.complete equal the body.complete to get the value of it. And now here you I don't want to talk further, but here you surely think the to-do is update, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And now I'm gonna send a status of Fiverr okay with the JSON of the to-dos right there. Okay, I'm gonna save. We're gonna go there. You remember, if we go over all the to-do, we have to do 1 and 2. So I'm gonna modify the to-do number 1. And I want to just modify his name to say by someone. I'm gonna say send. So now I getting back ID 1, name by someone, makes sense. We did change it, incomplete false. But now if I do a get request, what's going on? We didn't modify the to-dos, because the variable to do we got there when we do this here is the variable value. So it's the it's not the to-dos in memory, it's just really like the value at this point right there. So when you return it, it's perfect, you did modify it, but you didn't modify it from the origin right there. So how can we deal that and to make it like it's pretty simple, because right now the only way is gonna be to finally modify the slice himself. What you can do is changing the to-do slice here to be a to-do of pointer to-dos. And now we're gonna get some error. First error is gonna be where you update the to-do. So you see here the to-do you get right now at this point, it's a pointer to-do. So here you can dereference like that, not dereference, but getting the value. Okay, but the thing is, I don't like to do this thing like that, because I'm gonna just control the to-do like that. Because if I control the to-do like that, look here, the error. Now this to-do ID, I can say, hey, I don't care about that, because the pointer gonna make it nil. So by default, the to-do right now is nil. So I can say if the to-do equal nil. Now this thing is much better. Now this thing I modified that. But the thing is, when I'm gonna update those elements here, I'm gonna modify the real one, like the real I don't know how to say that in English, but the real to do in memory himself, because you get the address now. And finally, the only issue we got, it's when we create a to do, we pass the to do like that, and now you can modify that to just pass it like that. So now if I save, I'm gonna do the same exact pattern we did, but before we want to make sure we didn't break nothing, I'm gonna do a patch request to update the name of the to-do number 1 to say buy some wine. That's perfect, it worked. But now if I do a get request, you see buy some wine is right there, and we have well a cat. And now if I want to modify the to-do number 2, and I just want to pass completed to become true, and I click send, well, the cat completed true, it's ID number 2. Now if I do get me all the to do, it's true, perfect. If I do like that, so we make it to work. That's perfect. And also because we did make it with the error, if you send the body with an empty object, nothing's gonna happen because they all are nillable. And if we don't send any kind of an object, we get cannot parse body, and the error happen when we update the to-do right there, because you cannot the body parse this empty, you don't have an object, so you cannot parse it. The only last thing I want to show you, it's you can group your route. So sorry, I'm so lost in this project right there. Okay, you see right now we do add that get, add that post, to do and stuff like that. So if you came from Rails or other stuff like Laravel, in Laravel you can do like route, group, and now here you're gonna have like your to-dos and some stuff like that. The same with other language, you can do the same right there. You can say group, you put a prefix of to-dos, and now right there they're gonna give you back a context. You can put all your stuff right there, and now you can remove the to-dos like that. And now here I'm gonna just put something like that. And now if I save, it should be the same exact pattern. So now if I go there and I do a get request to get to do to, get to do to, did I miss something? One sec. I should not, maybe I make a mistake. What I miss? A prefix. My mistake. Okay, you see what I've done? It's not that good. One thing, sorry about that. You can do to-dos like that. To-dos routes. And now you append all your to-dos route like that. Okay, now it will work. Sorry about that, I made a mistake. And now you click get, and now you see we get all of that. Now if I do get to do one, perfect. So if that can make sense, you can create like a function called setup to-dos route or something like that. Here you're gonna receive maybe your app, so you can do fiber.app, and now you do this pattern right there, and now right there you say setup to-dos route, you pass your app, you save, and now should be the same exact stuff. You see, perfect. And now you can even say func setup API v1. You see your app, fiber that app. You say v1 is going to be equal to app.group slash v1 prefix v1. And now here you can get your setup route where you want to set up your route over that, but now that's going to be a grp or gr whatever you want to call that, because that's going to be a group. And now you modify this group like that. So finally you're gonna go over the group in the group. And what is the error? Oh, it's a router, sorry about that. What I missed? Oh yeah, should be good. And now if I go over that, I'm getting back. Oh, sorry about that. I try to go fast, but okay, should be good now. So if I do a get request, now we should get 404. The reason why it's now because I need to prefix those with v1, and now it work. And if I do v2, don't gonna work because we just have v1, but now you see all the work. And the reason why I did remove the pointer here, it's because it's an interface, okay? The v1 here, it's the fiber interface right there where you have all the functions. So here you pass your interface, so it's not gonna be the pointer because you have already the element. Sorry, I make a mistake at this place. Everything I've shown you here, it's live stuff, so I don't have any code next to me. So now I can remove this line. And now that's going to be the stuff I'm going to push to GitHub, and the link's going to be in the description. You can play with that, okay? And also look here, they have a lot of middleware. You have the compress and everything. Maybe something people want to use is recover and stuff like that. So whatever you want to do with that. And it's pretty nice and I really like it. That's why I think I'm going to do a series with that. Where I think I'm gonna try to make much more less beginner stuff, where we're gonna have like cron job and stuff like that, all with this API we're gonna build with that, and maybe we're gonna talk about WebSocket. So I hope you enjoy. and we're gonna talk in the next video. Bye everyone.